Everybody, welcome to Wednesday here at Crain and Company. To my left, as usual, former Michigan quarterback David Cone, a mountain of a man. And to my right is my brother and also former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crain. We have a hell of a show for you today. We're going to rank the 4 quarterbacks left in the college football playoff as we get ready for the semifinals tomorrow. We're going to get you caught up on another electric night of college hoops, including Tennessee losing. And we have AI Ryan Day's press conference telling us what he really thinks about where his team's at right now. Blaine, please tell the good people about the way the chat and the poll will work.
Absolutely. First of all, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic, it will get read. And all donations will get read at the end of the show. We're going to have multiple polls on this show. And some polls, your verdict will dictate the winner. So keep the feet chopping in there. Let's get it hot today. I want your thoughts. I want your opinions. Coney, can you tell me about this hot take hotline that's been so hot lately?
Ring, ring.
We will be taking your calls live on the Hot Take Hotline. Those lines are going to open at 3:50 Eastern, 2:50 Central. The number is 1-855-236-3228. Each caller, 60-second shot clock. Get your calls in. Give us your hottest take.
All right, it's Wednesday. Like my brother said, get those feet chopping. We got some work to do. And then there were 4. Now, we all know that the most important position on the field in this game is quarterback. And right now, they have the ball more than ever before with the stakes this high. So we decided today, with the semifinals starting tomorrow, to rank the 4 quarterbacks that are in the college football playoff that are left in order of who we trust the most. And here is what I landed on. First, the quarterback I do trust the most is Will Howard. Now, I don't actually think that Will is the best pure passer left or that even he's the best runner left. He's pretty good at both, don't get me wrong, but it's more about the mega ranger that he has around him. Ohio State brought in more weapons from the outside than the Ukraine has right now, and all Will has to do is not crash the car, and so far he is doing a hell of a job of it, probably playing the best he's ever played. 2, Riley Leonard. He's without a doubt, in my opinion, the best creator left. Now, what he lacks as a pure passer, to me, he more than makes up for with his design running ability and his improvisational skills when the play breaks down. He can turn a bad play into a great play and is a tough and elite-visioned runner. Number 3, Drew Aller, Penn State. New offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki is the best present Drew Aller has ever gotten in his football career, and now Penn State is able to open it up. They take more shots down the field than a drunk takes shots at Mardi Gras parades. He's developed into a pretty damn good passer, and his goofy running style is actually pretty hard to tackle. Last, and I guess you could say least, Texas's quarterback Quinn Ewers. Now, when protected, Quinn can absolutely sling it, but he struggles to create it all when the play breaks down, and he needs everything to be perfect to excel. He needs a strong run game around him to slow down the pass rush, and he struggles to elongate plays from the pocket and outside. Now, Ohio State's going to be on him like a fat kid on a Snickers bar during Halloween, and I just don't think the stars will align against the Buckeyes for him to play at his peak and his highest level of efficiency. David Cone, former Michigan quarterback, I'm interested to see what order you have these QBs as we head in the last couple of
No, I've got Riley Leonard at number 1 as the quarterback that I most trust in the college football playoff remaining. And I know that sounds kind of like a shocker to most people, especially as we pointed out some of the mistakes that he's made with the football throughout the season, particularly in that Northern Illinois game, but even up as recent as the USC game. Some of those throws, the interceptions that he made. But here's why I trust Riley Leonard more than the other quarterbacks right now left in the college football playoff. It's because I don't believe he needs to throw the football through the air for them to win a national championship. That was my thesis halfway through the season. Riley Leonard can't just run the football effectively with his legs and throw for 90 yards and beat the type of teams he needs to beat to win a national championship. The only thing is, they just did that to beat the Georgia Bulldogs. The same Georgia team that I saw Quinn Ewers in Texas couldn't get anything going against twice. So if Riley Leonard is going to be able to throw for 90 yards, be effective in quarterback counter in the run game, and beat teams like Georgia, beat defenses like Kirby Smart's Georgia, then he can win a national championship. You add in the RPO game off that and the run game that Jeremiah Love and those guys are able to offer, I think that this is a guy I trust. Is he going to get drafted the highest on my list? No, he's not. Is he going to be like a future Hall of Famer in the NFL? Probably not, but he's the guy that I'm going to go with. And then it's Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, and Drew Aller. I mean, Quinn Ewers being second, I know that you guys might think I'm crazy on that one too, considering some of the things we've said about him throughout the season, but he still has Steve Sarkisian calling plays, and I do think they're going to find ways to protect him. And even in some of those games that they lost, he's still throwing for 300 yards. I think that he's going to be able to get things going, and you can fill out the rest of my list there. It's Will Howard and Drew Aller.
Yeah, and with Quinn quickly, Coney, like, it seems to me that if Texas isn't going to be able to run the ball against Arizona State and they're still beat up on the offensive line, is kind of the best way to protect Quinn, maybe pitching backwards in this game for Steve Sark?
Well, they do that a lot. I mean, I think that his intermediate pass game, that's what Quinn Ewers is best at, and it just so happens to be what Steve Sarkisian is best at dialing up. I don't know if that's because he's dialing those plays up because he knows what Quinn Ewers' strengths are, or if there's some just weird relationship where, hey, that just works out well for both of them. But, you know, they're going to go as Quinn Ewers takes them. He's going to be the starting, like, they're not going to put Arch Manning in, guys. We've already seen the opportunity for them to go to him. Multiple interceptions, though, in the last 4 games. That doesn't bode well. I'm just wondering if that scare from Arizona State ends up being the same scare, like having the same effect that the Buckeyes had against Michigan.
It's going to be interesting to see. All right, Blaine, what do you got?
All right, let's pull up the best list real quick. And I know a lot of people are going to be surprised by this, but the number one guy I'm going with, that's Drew Aller from Penn State. A couple things here first. One, from the highest ceiling standpoint, I think that is Drew Aller. Physical tools, 6'5", 230 pounds, has an absolute rocket for an arm. Accuracy is somewhat miss here and there, but he is also a dual threat. I think he is good enough to test you in the run game a little bit. They'll do it. Koloniki likes to do it a little bit, but not a lot. And I do think Drew right now from a touchdown to interception ratio is 24-7 touchdowns to interceptions. And I think they have the best run game left in the college football playoff. With Singleton and Katron Allen, you can say it about Texas. Arizona State shut down Texas in the run game. I haven't seen that yet from Penn State. And I do think right now, the way Drew is playing, he's only getting better. I know he didn't play great in that Ohio State game during the season, but go look at that Oregon game in the championship, 300-plus yards through the air, so the moment's not too big. And I think he's only getting better throughout the year. And trust me, Drew Aller will get drafted higher than any other guy we're talking about on this board. So the guy I trust the most, plus that running game with Koloniki at OC, give me Drew Aller. In the second, I'm going to go Will Howard for a lot of things you said, Jake, and I think just all the pieces that are around him. The running game hasn't been there this year for Ohio State, but it is getting better. I'm going to go Riley Leonard. And then, baby, Ford, pull him up. Pull him up. Come on, give me something. Let's go. Give me Arch Manning. Who cares? They need to put him in. Quinn's not good enough. I'm sorry, whatever performance you're about to put up against Arizona State, buddy, that ain't going to work against Ohio State. Put Arch in. Quinn will probably get hurt by the second quarter.
Okay, all right. So let me because, God, you started off so good.
You see what's going on up there,
You started off so good.
I'm right.
With making your case for Drew Aller. Are you saying that you think Arch Manning is the 4th best quarterback left because you think Quinn Ewers is going to get hurt? Or are you saying you would start him on the first snap regardless of Quinn's health against Ohio State?
I will say this. I'd play him a lot more in this game than what
he's not playing at all. So
that's no, I'm saying even when they were playing him, Dave. Not only for like certain packages, I would put him in a lot more in these games to confuse the defense, whether he is running or passing. I don't think Sark and Texas are using this guy enough. So sooner or later, Quinn just you see the ceiling, you see the limit. The ceiling's already higher with this kid in Arch. It is, I believe so.
Because he can run.
Yeah, well, that changes the entire aspect.
I get that part of it, but you don't play him in the game against Arizona State.
Stupid.
You've been playing him sparingly before. So with all the chips on the table in the college football semifinal, you're going to totally expand the load that Arch Manning would carry against Ohio State? Have you seen those?
Hold on. What's his last name?
I don't care what his last name is.
What's his last name?
There
Manny.
it is.
Yeah.
Last name.
Yeah.
You know
Michael Jordan.
I actually want to change my order now.
I just want to
forget
like
Riley Leonard. I want to pick Quinn Ewers now. Have I been critical of him throughout the season? Yes, I've been critical. Well, we talk about the ceiling. I'm offended on behalf of Quinn Ewers at your comments right now.
That's fine.
You want to talk about the ceiling? I remember a guy going into Tuscaloosa on the road, playing a perfect game, didn't get sacked once. He's throwing bombs over Baghdad, post routes all over Nick. That was when Nick Saban was still the head coach.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any about this Kalen DeBoer
Didn't get sacked
stuff.
once.
Yeah, exactly. That's the ceiling I've seen.
Well, and
I watched him beat
here's
Michigan,
the craziest
Jake.
part, though.
Beat a
Here's the
five-loss
weird
Bama
way
team.
that Blaine can somehow be right. If you listen to people who know, apparently Stark thinks Arch Manning's going to be better than Quinn Ewers anyway, because he doesn't, they're basically telling Quinn, it sounds like, that this is your last year.
Are they, though?
It's like Aaron Hernandez on that show when Urban Meyer tells them they don't have a spot.
Quinn can win
don't bring up
Not
that.
that he's out there.
Don't bring up that.
Quinn can win a
murdering
national
people.
championship, stay, and get replaced.
Well,
Okay,
And get replaced.
So what do you guys say to this? There's a common opponent here, that Michigan defense. I personally had to sit through Quinn Ewers lighting that defense up, the same defense that the Buckeyes could do nothing against. Will Howard's throwing
I'm not agreeing
multiple
with Blaine.
interceptions against.
I'm not agreeing
But you
with
picked
Blaine
Will
about
Howard.
that. But I did pick Will Howard because, again, more of what's around him. And I will say to Blaine's point, I get your list too, but Drew Aller, if you look, you brought up the touchdown to interception ratio. He had a great one last year, but there were games where they never even threw the ball. They would never even test you downfield. So this one kind of means more to me. And if you go back to that Ohio State game, what were we most disappointed in? Andy Kotelnicki's play calling. When they got up 10-0, they took their ball and they reverted back to old Penn State. Let's run and go hide in the closet. I felt like I was in the movie that the Daily Wire did, Shut In.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there in the closet, just waiting to go out. It's like that South Park episode. So I think with Drew Aller, the way he's throwing the ball, that clip, I believe, I think you showed the Drew Aller clip against Boise State.
The touchdown to Tyler
Like, if
Warren.
he's making that type of throw.
And I do think they have the best run game right now left out of all the
So you like their run game better than Notre Dame's?
Yes. I do.
I feel like that was
I
Texas.
do.
I get Ohio State.
What?
I get the offensive line's been struggling at Ohio State, but Notre Dame, that's basically their bag, baby.
It doesn't mean
who
if
rushes
you can-
for more yards, Notre Dame or Penn State in this?
Penn State.
Okay.
I'll take Notre Dame.
All right.
Want to put a bet on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 50 spot.
$100.
Plus 50 push-ups.
150.
$100, 50 push-ups.
All right.
100,000. Hey.
Y'all should just fight each other
I get Dorf
right
for
now.
a step he cannot
Yeah,
deploy.
that's exactly right. You're just eating your Oreos like John Malkovich in that movie. All right, let's get to the chat and then get to the poll here.
All right, let's go to $5 donations from I'm Not a Cash. What's up, dude? He says, I think Quinn Ewers right now is the best quarterback left in the playoff. He can move somewhat when his robotic ankle figures out, but he's the most pure passer in the playoff left.
If this was a skills challenge and it was just throwing at the moving targets, I would take Quinn Ewers, but it's not. Those moving targets are actually coming to get you, and I'm actually really worried about this Texas offensive line. Not just running the ball, but if you can't run the ball, you get in what, Cone? Passing downs, they pin their ears back, and they come get you. Sawyer and the rest of those things they got running around there, I just don't think Quinn can get away. They may break them. Hell, it may have to be Arch Manning about halfway through the first quarter.
Let's go to Blake Bryan. I don't understand all the Quinn hate. What QB is winning a national championship without a run game anyways?
Well, it's, again, you're not wrong. Nobody is saying any of these players are bad. Okay, let me first off say that. But I feel like for Quinn, it has to go more perfectly than with everybody else. With Riley Leonard, he can be the run game. With Drew Aller, I think Drew Aller can be goofy enough running around and has enough ability to extend the play outside the pocket. With Will Howard, he's just kind of a more athletic version of Drew Aller, in my opinion. So that's why I put Quinn where I put him. None of them are bad players, but it doesn't always go perfect. Right? This isn't a Hallmark movie. She doesn't always come back at the end on Christmas.
Not only are we not saying that any of them are bad players, but this is such an intriguing debate because there's so many pros and cons for all of the guys, right? Yeah. If this was a year where 2019 Joe Burrow's on this list with any of the other three, you're just taking Joe Burrow.
For sure.
But now you can make a legitimate case for any of these guys.
Yeah, and that's why I think the list outside of, Blaine's last one, which there's probably some people that agree with that.
Look, yeah, there is. I mean, you just have to play him more. I'm not saying he has to come in here and start the game, but he needs to be he needs more packages. I mean, what has he done right now? You put him in, he's like, he looks terrible.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball the other day.
Well, look, that's fixable in practice. We can talk about that. Let's go to M. Miller. What's up? It says, voting for Leonard is crazy. Dude is the worst QB left, and I don't even think it's close.
God, and then he beats Georgia. But that's what I'm saying. Part of the trust factor of why I picked him is because I don't know how much he needs to do. Yeah. That's part of it. I'm not saying he's going to have the best NFL career. I'm just saying if they're running the ball that effectively that you can beat Georgia when throwing for 90 yards, but Quinn Ewers can't beat him when he throws for 300, then you might not need to do much. That increases the trust factor, kind of like J.J. McCarthy in Michigan a year ago.
Yeah, but kind of like with Will Howard, who I had number one because of what's around him and kind of the capability of the team as well. All right, let's get to the poll.
All right, the poll is, Who is the best quarterback left in the college football playoffs? Will Howard, Drew Aller, Will Howard, Drew Aller, as a poet, didn't even know it. Quinn Ewers or Riley Leonard?
I'm going to say that, God, I feel like we got a bunch of just devil's advocates in there. I'm going to say they said Quinn Ewers.
Okay, I'll say they took your pick, Will Howard.
Will Howard, 39%. Riley Leonard, 27%. Quinn, 19%. And Drew Aller, 15%.
Wow, Drew.
Wow, y'all are just wrong.
They turned on Will Howard pretty late.
In the chat.
Hey,
Ryan Day and Will Howard
it's amazing.
can do no wrong.
Don't worry.
You beat a couple teams.
We're going to hear from AI Ryan Day, fake talk with real coaches here in a little bit. All right, but speaking about working out, look, we know it's the new year. Some of you guys want to get in shape. Some of you want to get in better shape. You may already be in shape. But what if you want to level up your workout? What if you want a customized, personalized workout plan that's like having a personal trainer that understands what you have around you, your capabilities, but it's even better and it's even cheaper? Well, let me tell you about our friends over at Fitbod. We've used it, to get in shape for the movie Lady Ballers, where we all lost a bunch of that weight, got tone, jack, tan, whatever you want to call it. We use Fitbod. I'm telling you guys, it's easy. We always say work smarter, not harder, even though David Cohn believes you should work smarter and harder. But with Fitbod, it's literally, again, like having a personal trainer that's with you. Whether you work out in your garage, whether you go to the gym, or whether you just stare out the window and look at the animals with free weights, Fitbod understands how to personalize your workout plan, and you can get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days at fitbod.me/booster. That's fitbod.me/booster. And you know what? You won't burn out. So you're not going to quit here in 2 weeks when everybody else does on all their New Year's resolutions. Go check them out. I'm telling you, it is totally, totally worth it. All right. My favorite segment of the day. Punt or go, David. Let's go. I'm ready to get it going.
Time for Punt or Go. This is our debate segment. Each of us will make a statement, and the other two guys have 60 seconds uninterrupted to either affirm that statement by going for it or reject that statement by punting the football. I know you're a special
I can do a lot
guy.
in 60 seconds, Cone.
The brothers are
Give me
up
30.
first. I believe you, actually.
Yeah.
The brothers are up first. Let's start with college basketball. We hadn't talked much college basketball yet this season, but the number one team in the nation, Tennessee, who 24 hours ago was undefeated, 14-0, went on the road to play Florida, who's ranked number 8 in the country, and they lost by 30. Florida 73, Tennessee 43. It was just a stomping. My statement to you guys is Tennessee basketball, once again, is overrated. Punt or go?
I'm gonna punt on that. Look. Did I think Tennessee was the number one team overall coming into this game? I don't. I know they were in the AP, but when you look at Joe Lunardi, when you look at some of the other stuff, Ken Pom, it's like Auburn, Duke, and everybody else. And the SEC is so good this year. In the non-con, it's the best year that they've ever had going into the conference season. It's going to be a gauntlet, a murderer's row. In the non-con, the SEC was 185-23. That's insane. Georgia absolutely erased Kentucky at home. There is no night off in this league. Now, am I worried a little bit about Tennessee offensively? Look a little bit like last year. Great on defense. Dalton Knecht has an off night. They get down 12-15 in the NCAA tournament. They struggle to come back, but I think Ziegler's offensive game's improved. You're going to have nights like this in this league. What makes this question a little more feasible, it's not just that they lost, it's that they got their ass beat, and it looked really bad. They were down 12-0 at the beginning. Look, weren't able to get the ball inside. I do not think Tennessee is overrated, though. I think they're going to come back this next weekend. You've got many opportunities. Rick Barnes will continue to tinker with it. Tennessee is not overrated. They just may not be the best team in the country.
Tennessee, number one team in the country, is overrated. Punt or go?
Go. We're going for Dan Campbell style. When's the last time a number one team ranked in the country got beat by 30 points? I'll sit here and wait. You know why? Because it's never happened. Virginia got beat by 20 in the tournament by USMBC or whatever it is. That's the closest thing we've seen. It's different if we saw Florida come out here and just not miss a shot. If they're just, everything they put up went in. They weren't 6 from 20 from the three-point line. Didn't shoot great when they come inside. They kicked Tennessee's ass from a physical standpoint. And good teams, or not even good teams, but great teams can do what? If all the shots aren't going in, if we're not playing great on offense, at least we can make up for it somewhere else, on the boards, on the turnovers, getting to the free throw line. Tennessee did none of that. Tennessee is not a number one overall team. Are they a good team? For sure. I mean, it's like She-Wolf, a strawberry beer. It's okay. But no team, no number one team who gets drugged by 30 points deserves to be number one.
Well, Jake, I'll give you the last word here.
Well, Florida is also really, really good. And if you've watched SEC basketball, going to play at Florida is a nightmare. Auburn can't win there. I don't know the last time we won there. It is going to be back and forth like this. Again, it is a bad look. I get that, to lose that badly. But this may be the best Florida team that I've seen since they've had Joakim Noah and Al Horford with Condon. Walter Clayton Jr. didn't even make a shot for like the first 8 minutes, got 2 fouls and had to go to the bench. I think this may be more about Florida being pretty freaking good than it is about Tennessee being that overrated. That's what I think. But, guys, I want to stick on college basketball here for the second one between you two. I want to play a video of UCLA coach Mick Cronin taking an absolute blowtorch to his team after they lost last night. Let's go ahead and play this clip. And again, in the comments, we don't know what y'all think as well. Play Mick Cronin, the UCLA coach, after another tough loss.
But we don't play. We're soft. So don't tell me you want to win. Like, just don't tell me you want to win. So don't tell me you want to win. It's crazy, and it's every day. I'm tired of it. It's every day. I have the most energy of anybody at practice every day. I'm upset with everybody in that locker room, my assistant coaches and my players. I mean, I don't need to do anything else. I almost got 500 wins. I'm only 53. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. But yet I come in and I have more passion and energy and pride than everybody in. That's the problem. So what the truth of it is, Ben, it's really hard to coach people that are delusional. The hungry dog gets the bone. We got guys that think they're way better than they are. They're nice kids. They're completely delusional about who they are.
Well, guys, that's blunt honesty. My statement to you, and Blaine, I want to start with you. Mick Cronin was wrong to throw his team under the bus in that post-game press conference.
Yeah, I'm going for this. One, I mean, I don't care if you're a coach with 500 wins or whatever. You recruited these guys. So whose fault really is it? And this is not something you air out to the media, right? This is something you keep in-house. You sit into a locker room and you look these kids in the eyes, and that's when you say it. You're out here fanboying to media about how bad and delusional your team is. Buddy, you're the head coach of this team. It is your job to get these guys right. In no way a great coach would ever go sit in an interview process and just absolutely crap on the guys he recruited. Hell, you're probably not even going to have a team next year now with the way the transfer portal is. So this is just almost disgusting to me. You sit down, you look them in the eyes, in the locker room as a team, as a unit, and have that conversation and not go air it out to the media because you're a big bad boy coach with 500 wins.
David Cone, again, I've never really heard a coach talk like that in the press conference. Was Mick Cronin wrong to throw his team under the bus in the postgame press?
No, I'm going to punt this, and here's why. Because Mick Cronin is accomplished enough as a college basketball coach to know which buttons to press, to know where that line is. I guarantee you he's not saying anything to the media last night that he hasn't already said to his team. He clearly has identified, if he has recruited these kids, like Blaine said, he's identified this is the best way for me to get through with them because currently I'm not. We're only a few seasons removed from me watching him take teams to the Final Four and beat Michigan in the Sweet 16. Like I think it's a weird flex to say the 500 wins there in the middle of the press conference. But again, I've been on a team where a head coach went to the media and said the cupboard is bare, and then it has a completely different tone and message when he comes and talks to the team. Yeah, none of us appreciated that, right? And I'm not going to say any other names or be more specific. I don't think that's this situation. I think that he's already gone to the team, said exactly every word that he said to us to that team, and said, you know what? It hasn't been good enough. Now I have to go make it a public thing.
Blaine, I want to add on from you a little sidebar here. Are you saying you don't think it should be done in general over any era, or is it because of the era that we're in now with college athletics with the transfer portal? Because I watched Bob Knight say a lot worse stuff than that in press conferences to the media about his team, and he won a lot of games.
Well, no, I think a little bit of both those can be true, but you have to be able to discipline your players, or there's no even reason to have a coach. But I will never sit in front of a media, especially with the coach as most experiences Mick Cronin has, and blame it all on the kids because you have 500 wins and you've been to a couple Final Fours. I just don't think ever dishing out something in the media, whether you have the conversation with the kids or not, is a good look for you or a good look for your program or a good look for your team.
Okay.
All right, boys. I'm up over here. This one's a real one. I hope you're ready for it.
I thought mine was a real
one. Punter go. Cowboys should fire Mike McCarthy. Tony?
No, I'm punting that. And they're not going to because they just denied the Bears' request to even interview Mike McCarthy. So Jerry Jones knows Mike McCarthy's his guy. They should not be moving on from him. Look, Mike McCarthy had 3 straight 12-5 seasons with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott goes down this year, and they still went 7-10. They got Cooper Rush out there playing quarterback. I wouldn't know Cooper Rush if he walked in here with a shirt that said, "I am Cooper Rush." Still won 7 games. 3 straight 12-5 seasons. I think Mike McCarthy is going to get this thing figured out. If you want to throw a statement at me that the Cowboys should not have Dak Prescott as their starting quarterback, I would be more willing to listen to that. But I've seen that guy win the biggest game, win the Super Bowl when he had the right roster and when he had a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. I know that he can do it. Keep Mike McCarthy for at least another year.
All right, Jake. Cowboys should fire Mike McCarthy. Hunter, go.
Go. I would have let him go interview with the Bears. I'd have told him go interview and don't come back. It's not working. And nobody's saying Mike McCarthy is an awful coach or he's the worst coach in the league. But I've watched Dan Quinn outcoach him after what went down with the Cowboys in the playoffs defensively when they got put out. Whatever Mike McCarthy is doing, and you talk about the coach bringing in the players with Mick Cronin, I know Jerry Jones is a better actor than he is a GM here lately, but it's still on Mike McCarthy with the way this team operates. They can't bounce back from adversity at all. The Cowboys are the worst team ever at bouncing back from adversity. We talk about Quinn Ewers having to have a perfect pocket for everything to go well. It's got to go perfect for the Cowboys to even sniff something. And then when they do go to the playoffs after sniffing it, they turn their head away and they get embarrassed at home with all these pieces. It's not working. Gerard Mayo can get fired after 1 year, but yet I'm watching Mike McCarthy sit here and screw up all the time, and Brian Daboll screw up all the time, and they get a pass. I'm just to the point now, if you're going to fire Doug Peterson, at some point you got to move on from Mike McCarthy.
But imagine if you go 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, your starting quarterback gets hurt, you still go 7-10, you just missed the playoffs, and then they're like, you're fired. Now, I understand what the standard is in Dallas. They want to win Super Bowls, but I've seen Mike McCarthy win a Super Bowl, and Jerry Jones gets a lot of blame. I've seen Jerry Jones be the owner of 3 Super Bowl winning teams. The variable there is I haven't seen Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl. So if you want to hammer home the fact that Dak Prescott can't be the guy for the Cowboys for them to win a Super Bowl, then that's fine. But I know I've seen Mike McCarthy do it.
Yeah, well, to me, the problem is he didn't do it in Dallas. Like, it's great that you've won one, but it's just like with Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. Hey, man, you did a great job at Sioux Falls and Washington. What have you done at Alabama? I think the standard for the Cowboys isn't to go 12-5. The standard for the Cowboys is to win the division, to win the conference, to be in the Super Bowl. They haven't done that. And I know everything hasn't gone perfectly. I know I'm with you. How many times have we sat up here and talked about Dak Prescott? But at some point, the status quo is not good enough for the Cowboys in their mind, in Jerry Jones' mind. I think they need a fresh start. It needs to be a Febreze Brothers situation. Let Mike McCarthy go to the Browns. That'd be great for the Cowboys. Let him go on. Bring Benny Johnson in here. Bring him in here. Let's get a little creative. And do you think maybe one of the reasons he hasn't been fired is because he's a yes man? And I think that's on Jerry Jones, right? There's something about it I don't like. It smells funny to me.
All right, last one up for Punt or Go. Let's talk about the Bears for a little bit because they have a head coach opening as well. Sounds like there's some serious interest in Pete Carroll. So here's my statement. Pete Carroll would be a great hire for the Chicago Bears. Jake, punt or go?
I'm going to say punt. And again, I've got all the respect in the world for Pete Carroll. I think he would be a okay hire for the Bears. But the Bears can't settle for okay right now. Not with Caleb Williams sitting there. Pete Carroll's a defensive guy. Go look at his resume. Safeties coach, defensive coordinator, head coach. I think he'd do an okay job in Chicago, but he's kind of an old school guy. He's got a great personality. The players love him. But you need somebody, and I just mentioned the guy, Ben Johnson. You need an offensive guy to come in there, give some enthusiasm. Eberflus was a defensive guy. You're going to replace a defensive guy with a defensive guy when you pick the number 1 pick, Caleb Williams at quarterback. They need an offensive, young coach that can go in there, put some enthusiasm in that organization, not just repackage old Pete Carroll and go try and tackle people only on defense. Give me a young up-and-coming offensive mind.
Pete Carroll would be a great hire for the Bears. Punt or go?
I'm going with this absolutely. One, putting Matt Eberflus and Pete Carroll in the same sentence is
stylistically
beyond disrespectful. I mean, he's 107 and 120 as the NFL head coach. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's one of the 4 coaches who've won a Super Bowl championship and a national championship. And where did he win that national championship? He won it at USC. So you already have a connection with him and Caleb Williams. And right now, you know what the Bears need? They need a culture hire. All right, that's what Pete Carroll is. The Bears were at their best when they were what? Feared on defense. Pete Carroll can come in, fix that defense. He can also get the special teams fixed at the same time, and you can start building on that as a foundation. And then you can bring in an OC to help with Caleb Williams. I think the Bears need to get better at a lot of other places before you just try to fix Caleb Williams, and that starts on the defense. And I think Pete Carroll, as old as he is, can come in and fix a lot of things, and that's starting with your defense.
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of.
Word?
Well, yeah. I just yesterday you said the Titans should take a quarterback at number 1 because the quarterback's the foundational piece. Yet you sit here today and say that you should bring. They have problems all around the Bears that need to be fixed before they work on the quarterback.
Drafting a player and hiring
I'm just trying to understand how both of those.
Drafting a player and hiring a coach is different. That's two completely different things.
I don't think it is at all. You're trying to build a foundation
is insane.
and build a culture, as you said. So, all right, let's get to the chat over there.
All right, I'm gonna get to this poll. Who won, punt or go? So should I let it bleed a little bit, or should we just get right here after? You know what? I'm going to go to this donation first. $5 donation from the Seahawk man. He says, guys, I like Pete Carroll a lot, but I think a big thing we didn't touch on was his age. Is he too old now to come back and coach in the NFL?
Well, I think Pete Carroll's got a young spirit, right? You hear, I mean, Cohen, we hear about the players saying they loved, playing for Pete Carroll. He let them be themselves. But I just, the feeling is it's like repackaged. It's like recycled. You're not doing anything really new or going a different direction. I don't think Pete Carroll would do a horrible job with the Bears, but the Bears just don't want to be okay. They want to actually start making a run, and that's why I think you need a fresh face. You need to go a different direction.
He's 73, for anyone wondering.
Yeah, well, that's the new 53.
All right, let's go to a $2 donation from KB. Appreciate it. If you fire Mike McCarthy and you can't get Ben Johnson, who would be your replacement at the Cowboys, and why is it Deion Sanders?
Deion and Jerry?
Well, that's the biggest problem is, and I still believe this, and I think probably most y'all out there do, Jerry Jones has to have a yes man. That's why I think it didn't eventually work out with Jimmy Johnson, because Jimmy Johnson wasn't a yes man.
And that's when they won their Super Bowl.
And that's when they won their Super Bowls, right? I'm not going to kneel and kiss the ring. So if Jerry Jones will allow a guy to be able to come in there and be himself and lay down the law, I don't think with Deion Sanders that's going to work. I don't think you're going to tell Deion Sanders is more famous than Jerry Jones. Not as rich, but more famous than Jerry Jones. I don't think that would work. I don't think Sarkisian would leave Texas. That's the biggest predicament to me when it comes to the Cowboys, and that's why I think they blocked the Bears from hiring, because Mike McCarthy says, yes, sir. Oh, thank you. I'll have another.
Let's go to Bryant. What's up, man? He says, Mike has won 65% of his games as a head coach. He's not a terrible coach. He's a okay coach.
And the Cowboys are not down with okay. They just don't want a good meal. All right, Cowboys fans are sick of having the good meal. Then they're getting told they're going to have a great meal in the playoffs, and it comes back, and it's undercooked bologna, which fried bologna, when cooked right, is actually pretty good. But this is undercooked, disgusting bologna when it gets in the playoffs. And when you're at the Cowboys, it's just like being at Bama. It's not about what you do in the regular season, buddy. This is a postseason franchise.
Let's go to Mikey T. What's up, Mike? He says, I agree with David on this one. These kids in college are just soft these days. Sooner or later, a coach has to tell the truth. He just happened to do it on an interview setting.
Well, I wish I could be a fly on the wall to see, like Cone said, if he has told this team this before. I actually lean toward David as well on that, because I don't think this is his first move. The first move isn't go to the media and call him out. The first move is get after him in practice, get after him in meetings, tell him the problem, give him time to fix it. We're in conference play. This isn't the third game of the season. It's not like he just figured it out. And I think if you're a UCLA fan, the scariest part is its desperation to have to go to the media. That's what would worry me. That's why I think Cone was right.
All right, let's go to a $3 donation from Dion T. What's up, man? He says, I don't think Prime is going to leave college, guys. If he doesn't go to the Cowboys, what NFL team do you think he is going to go to, and does he follow his son?
I don't think he'd go to the NFL, but if he does, it would have to be following Shadur, right? It would have to be, which means that there's really only one place, David Cone, and that's the Raiders. We've seen some people hint at it. There may be some interest there from the Raiders to him. I don't think Prime's leaving, but if you told me, Jake, I've got a crystal ball, I've seen the future Deion Sanders as a coach in the NFL, where is he? I think he is with the Raiders. I think Shadur's at quarterback, and they draft Shiloh late in the draft. That's what I think.
You just moved on from Antonio Pierce, a player's coach, type guy. I don't know if you're immediately going to Deion Sanders.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it had to happen, I think it would be there.
All right, let's go to Dacky P. What's up, brother? He says, Mike McCarthy is ass. The only reason he got that Super Bowl was because of Aaron Rodgers. No other reason.
Well, it seems like every team these days is only winning the Super Bowl because of the top-ranked quarterback they have.
Well,
watching Patrick Mahomes win back-to-back Super Bowls. Andy Reid could never get one, even with Donovan McNabb. So, yeah, great Super Bowls help you win, or great quarterbacks help you win.
Well, that's the whole point, right? The players win the games. Like, if you don't have good players, you can be the greatest schematic person in the world. It's not going to work. You can be a bad schematic guy, and if you have the best players, you're going to win. You give me Cam Newton in college, I could draw a circle with eyes on it and score 35 points a game. So, do I think Mike McCarthy's the greatest coach ever? No. Do I think he's ass? No. Do I think he's a little bit butt? Maybe. Maybe just a tad. All right, let's get to the poll.
All right, poll. Who won Punt or Go? Blaine, Jake, or David? Excuse me. You want to answer it? Just give it to you. I'm going to give it.
Just give
David, 36%.
That's a winning
putting
number.
In numbers. Jake, 27%. Old Crain Blaine, 37%. Baby, come on.
What? No, I don't
Come
believe
on. Let's go. Big dubs over
A
here,
dead
guys.
tie?
Big dubs. No, you got 36. I got 37.
It's just, once again, it's amazing. That now, since this new format, has made every day Blaines finish at least first or tied for first. We need to see what he's putting in the chat.
I'll
I
keep
wouldn't
an
put
eye
it
on
past him.
Yeah, we have.
This
witnesses
dude
in
would
the
cheat
control room.
Sister Jean out of a handshake if you gave him a chance to.
I'll just
So
cheat
I don't
against
believe-
him if he keeps sending. Don't worry.
we need a chat monitor like a hall monitor. But what we have been monitoring as well, fellas, some of the top plays. We did this on Monday, and now, there were some plays last night, including a dunk, which I'm sure one of us is going to get to. I want to start with mine. Now, typically, we don't do a lot of NBA coverage here. Why? Because it sucks. But last night, Trae Young, Ice Trae, one of the few shining beams coming out of the Atlanta Falcons franchise, hit a half quarter to win it. Let's go ahead and show this clip. Ice Trae, give me the Butter Festival. Let's play it.
Practice, and I'm just glad I had the opportunity
this.
today to do it in the game.
Not even the backboard. That's the most impressive part. It wasn't just a heave off the backboard. We've seen that. You get lucky sometimes. That was an absolute splash without having any help around it, not using the square, straight into the goal. Trae Young. There's your
Young
NBA.
has a full beard now?
I think he's a dad, too.
I didn't even know. What's your top play?
Oh, you know what my top play is, David. Go ahead and bring it up. I mean, this kid's already a problem. He's already a problem. You can go ahead and watch him play in the NBA. He's going to be doing the same thing. Cooper Flag at Duke. Pittsburgh at Duke. It's already 37-26. Go ahead and run this.
He's like 14.
Hey, what's up? Yeah. In your mouth in front of everybody. In front of everybody. Oh, God. He's white. And he's white.
I know. It's sometimes it's worth a technical foul. I don't think he got teed up right there, but if I'm telling you right now, as somebody who doesn't really dunk a lot now or in the past,
or ever,
if I did that,
you dunked in Lady Ballers.
I am look, I really had to use a lot of Energico to get there, but I would totally get teed up after that. The guy who I dunked on, you have no chance. Tee me up, and if I'm a coach, we're up 11. Now we're up 13. I don't mind getting teed up on that one.
How good is Duke? How good are they really?
The second best team in the country.
Behind,
Auburn.
Say it.
Even though Duke did beat Auburn, but it was at home, and they had a freshman close his eyes and hit like.
You just said Tennessee's not overrated, so clearly they're the number one team.
Yeah, no, I mean
you're going to have to go back and redo that whole segment. All right, bring up my top play here. I'm going to the FCS National Championship. This is Cam Miller, boys, 64-yard TD run. Yes. Just look at this, out of empty. Play it out of the empty set. 2 high safeties. Watch this. Safeties get wide. Boom, gone. He's already scored. It's already a touchdown.
Yeah.
Untouched. They barely got back in frame on defense. Hey, check this out. 199 passing yards for Cam Miller, 2 touchdowns, another 121 on the ground, thanks in part to that 64-yard touchdown, and more important than all that, an FCS national champion.
Can we go back to the start of that play really quick? Because I just want to, Cone, I want to ask you, just go back to the start. Put the Cam Miller. If you're Cam Miller right now, you're like, all right, I see the 2 safeties, but there's nobody in the middle.
Cam Moses, part the Red Sea.
Yeah, like, do you know right now, running a quarterback draw, hey, guess what? It's a touchdown? Because I want to play it one more time, just see if the defensive line's stunted. Just play it one more time. Bro, what are y'all doing on defense?
Forget first down.
I got to call Mixie. My boy Mixie's the wide receiver coach. I got to ask, what possessed you outside of having not Mixie, but the defensive coordinator to call that? That's like stealing. It's absolutely like stealing.
That was a great game.
It was a fantastic game. I'm glad it got good in the second half, too. Yeah. It made it a lot more competitive. It wasn't the first. But if you're in the earbud business, we read the Fitbot ad earlier. A lot of people like to run, listen to music, listen to podcasts. Maybe you're listening to Crain & Company while you're working out or running. Well, you need some earbuds that are absolutely reliable, that don't have wires, but they're not incredibly overpriced. Some of the earbuds nowadays, it's ridiculous. Where our friends over at Raycon, they got their everyday earbuds, and they're the perfect gym buddy, coworker, or phone call companion. They offer premium audio wherever you go. They don't fall off, and they have a 32-hour battery life. I'm telling you guys, Raycon, they're on the ball with this one. When I run with my earplugs, and I used to do the wired ones, and I'd hit it with my elbows and knock them out, even the unwired ones would fall out. These don't fall out. The audio's quality. You don't got to worry about them falling out. You can use them in many different areas as well. And like I said, they got that 32-hour battery life. And you can get 15% off site-wide at buyraycon.com/booster. That's 15% off site-wide at buyraycon.com/booster. Buyraycon.com/booster. It's a great gift, too. Great present. Great little surprise. Even for kids, not just for adults. They like to listen to stuff, too. We got some kids that listen to this show.
Yeah, we
try
do.
And keep it nice and PG.
They're skipping class to call in.
They are.
Take Hotline.
I love it.
1-855-236-3228.
Yeah, we had somebody hide in the bathroom and call in, too. That was pretty sweet. All right, well, I'm so excited to get to this Ryan Day AI thing. But even though we got a new format, it's the same us, which means it's Wednesday. Which means there's a lawn that a young/old soul
God, you're a giant.
has to scream at people to get off of. And I'm personally excited about this one because I already know what it's about. Surprise, surprise. But David, on this beautiful Wednesday that our dear Lord has blessed us with, who's G'ing off your L today?
Mainstream sports media networks need to get off my lawn. Just in the last week alone, sports personality Skip Bayless has been sued for allegedly offering $1.5 million to a hairdresser to engage in coitus.
Nice.
His colleague Joy Taylor supposedly had affairs with executives and co-host Emmanuel Acho. And ESPN, during their coverage of the Sugar Bowl, just a day after a tragic terrorist attack, decided not to televise the national anthem or the moment of silence or Notre Dame running out on the field with the American flag. These are institutions that claim to be the worldwide leaders in sports. These are the organizations that ask you and your family to trust them day in and day out with your sports information. How about no? Honestly, I feel bad for the good people working at these networks, some of whom are great friends of ours. They give 100% just to have the executives stab them in the back time and again. And now I see court documents revealing that Joy Taylor planned to sue Charlie Dixon, the executive she was supposedly fornicating with, once he was, quote, no longer useful to her. Imagine the type of person it takes to have a workplace affair. All right, with the goal of advancing your career, then divulging that your plan is to sue the other person for sexual harassment once they can no longer help you. And she's still on the air. Emmanuel Acho, still on the air. There are no repercussions. Now, you listening, you would be fired. You would get marched down to some pretentious HR guy's office to can you. Same for me, but not for these networks because they know they can get away with it. They're like Globo Gym in dodgeball. They're better than you, and they know it. Your only options are to shut up and deal with it, or to do something drastic, like make Crain & Company your go-to sports show. I would strongly recommend the latter, and I would recommend these networks get off my lawn.
Yeah, David! North Korea clap. Well done, because it's the truth. How do you not play the national anthem after that, dude? And, like, the people that... I don't want to get into individuals, but, like, we know so many people that work at those places that are great people.
Yes.
Fantastic people. American loving people. And look, I know you got to get a paycheck, right? And I know you got to support a family. I'm learning that in real time right now. But I mean, at some point, like it would be too much for me, dude. I couldn't stand it. But let's get to the chat here. Phone line's going to open up here in about 7 minutes. But let's get to the chat for a second.
All right, let's go to PT. What's up, man? He says, I think Cooper Flagg right now is the best player in college basketball. Would he be your number one pick in the draft?
In the draft, yes, because I think the NBA, he can, because Cooper's not the heaviest right now. He's going to put on a little bit of weight. And what he does, I think, translates to the NBA really well. It obviously translates in college. But I actually think, and people say I'm biased, I'm from Auburn, I think Janai Broome right now, who's minus 250 to win the Wooden Award, is the best player in college basketball. Had another double-double last night on the road against Texas. I just think from an all-encompassing standpoint, what Janai does offensively, what he does as a leader, what he does rebounding, what he does passing and assisting, and what he does, being able to alter shots at the rim, I think he's just more valuable and he's more experienced. I mean, the fact that we can even have the debate between these two and Cooper Flagg's 17 years old. I mean, Janai Broome's played 4 or 5 years, whatever it is now. So that's a testament to Cooper Flagg. But if I was an NBA GM and I had the number 1 pick and you said I have to pick between Janai Broome or Cooper Flagg, I would take Cooper Flagg because I think the potential of him down the road is higher than what Janai Broome's is. I think Janai may be tapped out from a potential standpoint. I don't think Cooper's even gotten close to touching the surface.
All right, let's go to $3 donation from Mitch. Appreciate it, Mitch. He says, I'm surprised no one's been fired after these accusations. Why do you think no one has been let go yet?
That's what I was wondering, too. Now, Skip Bayless's contract was up in August of 2024. I did look that up today. But like I said, Joy Taylor's still in the air. Emmanuel Acho's still in the air. As far as I can tell, Charlie Dixon's still with the network, but I couldn't confirm that.
Well, and I want to make sure, again, these are allegations. We've already told you what we believe happened, whether they're true or not. But I just once again want to reiterate when we're talking about a topic like this, that these are allegations. But if we're going to assume they're true, I think there's a couple reasons. I think if this was me who had been accused of doing it, or if it was you, you would have been fired. But Joy Taylor is a woman, not a white woman. Emmanuel Acho's not a white man. I think and Charlie Dixon is like an executive. So it's a lot harder to fire those guys at the top because they're obviously heavily involved. I just think, even today, in the society that we have, that the way you look and the sex that you are goes a long way in determining when they can fire you. Now, if it comes out and they find out that this is 100% true and they're backed into a corner, I think there's a possibility and a pretty good probability that they would fire them. But some people get the benefit of the doubt and others don't. So that's just what I believe personally. If I was running the business, they would be fired. Because I think, when you look and you research it, where there's smoke, there's fire in this deal. And it's a society we live in right now where you don't get really judged on your character, and it's not an even playing field. It's what you look like and what box you check, at least over there. And I hope that's changing because I believe in judging people on the merit of their ability and the content of their character, not the pigment of their skin or what they have in between.
And for the most part, I don't care about people's personal business, right? And I'm not coming after them because I claim to be a perfect individual. But if there is any truth whatsoever, and the truth will out, make no mistake, if there's any truth whatsoever to the fact that Joy Taylor would have sued someone for sexual harassment, knowingly in an open,
that's jail time.
It should be firing's not good enough for me. That's disgusting, man.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm Charlie Dixon, and again, nobody's cleaning this, but I do think there's a difference. And I'm not trying to clear Emmanuel Acho of everything in here, but in reality, okay, if you're going to hook up with a coworker and the company says you have to disclose that there's a relationship or something there, that's an HR violation. You could fire somebody over that. But Emmanuel Acho isn't married. Joy Taylor was married. Joy Taylor allegedly cheated on her spouse, ended up in divorce, and was hooking up with 2 guys. To me, Joy Taylor looks the worst in all this. Charlie Dixon looks really, really bad. But if I'm Charlie Dixon and it's true that you were going to try and fake that I was sexually harassing you or something, I am suing you into oblivion. You will be scrubbing toilets with a toothbrush. But what makes it even worse is that allegedly Joy Taylor told that hairdresser, just get over it. Don't say anything about the sexual harassment by Skip Bayless. Meanwhile, Joy Taylor is allegedly plotting behind the scenes to set up something on sex. Joy Taylor, this is looking like one of the worst people ever, and she's the same one who's going to go in there and try and be all virtuous and say how hard it is for her. No, you just allegedly used the oldest trick in the book to try and move up in the world, and you got caught, allegedly, for the 9th time.
All right, let's go to Robert 11. He says, shout out to Whitlock and Cowherd for not being in any of these allegations.
And Nick Wright.
I will say this. Whitlock's comments since then have been kind of freaking me out.
Weird.
Yeah, Jason, and we've had Jason on this show, and he's always been very cordial and cool to us, but sometimes he just says some things that are weird to me. Like, just that I'm just like, I don't know where you're kind of going with that. So shout out to him, being clean. Colin Cowherd looking great. I think it was Cowherd's birthday, too, the other day. So shout out to Colin. You know, we were over there at the Volume before we decided to come over here. And him and Nick Wright, hell, have a beer, boys. I know Colin will.
Joe Klatt, too.
Joe Klatt, too. Clean Klatt. Love to see it.
Let's go to Ryan S. He says, I wouldn't be surprised if ESPN will hire Joy right after this ends.
Oh, she'll have a show. She'll probably be that. She'll probably head up the network the way that ESPN works. Then, you know, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole, but it's just amazing how much people can fail up. I mean, it's just, if you're a certain type of person, you can fail up, buddy, like way, way up there. It's just a bad situation. The Skip Bayless thing, God, why do I have a hard time believing that you would pay $1.5 million? Even Stephen A. came out and said Skip Bayless too cheap to pay $1.5 million for that. So it's a weird situation. But the phone lines, Coney, open it up here in 1 minute. Yep. The Hot Take Hotline. You want to give that number out again?
Hot Take Hotline, 1-855-236-3228. You'll have 60 seconds. Give us your hottest take.
All right, while we're loading those lines up, we got to get to a Ryan Day press conference clip here using AI, which this is the best way to use AI. But first, you know what I got in this cup right here, fellas? Coffee. A delicious golden dandelion blend from our friends over at Black Rifle Coffee. The best way to wake up. I don't care any other coffee company that tells you, and you can support a great cause. They've got a great selection of light roast, dark roast, everything in between. You can find out which coffee is the best for you, too, when you go to their website. And like I said, the cause is fantastic because with every purchase you make, it helps them further their mission to support veteran and first responder causes. Everything from getting funding and equipment to first responders to helping veterans get medical care. Like I said, the dark roast, the light roast, they've got the espresso, David, that you really like over there as well. And a portion of every purchase, as I said, goes toward helping those great causes. So head to blackriflecoffee.com now and use this code. Here's some free money for you. Daily Wire for 20% off America's coffee. That's blackriflecoffee.com with code DAILYWIRE, DAILYWIRE, and get that percentage off.
Let's go to Jay Grizz. He says, you got to do Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh. Try to knock off as many people as you can.
Do we have footage of Connor Stallions at like a press conference, though? That's the only problem. Because what makes it perfect is it's the actual person with the AI voice. That's what makes it like absolutely perfect. I don't know if we have. I could ask.
He's in the documentary.
Yeah, we could ask Connor.
He's in the Netflix documentary.
I'll just ask him on social. I'll ask him on social.
All right, one more.
Let's go to JC. He says, how about Patrick Mahomes, fellas, please?
Oh, again, I'll do Patrick Mahomes talking about his wife all day. All day. Don't worry, more of that's coming. We're going to put it on social, too. We think it's going to do pretty well.
All right, boys, let's get to the Hot Take Hotline. Remember, when a line frees up, that means it's open. Get those calls in. We're going to start with Matt in College Station, Texas. Matt, you got 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
What's going on, guys? I appreciate y'all for taking the call. I just want to talk about the complete and utter disrespect of the Texas Longhorns, man. Everyone's counting us out like we're nothing. We beat the Big 12 champ, the ACC champ. We're going to face what everybody thought was going to be the Big Ten champ coming in. Everyone's talking about the Ohio State Buckeyes roster like our roster's complete bums and how Quinn Ewers just can't win the big game. Quinn Ewers has stepped into the role as a Texas Longhorn quarterback in one of the biggest teams, one of the biggest name brands there is in college football, and has just competed at such a high level. Has he had his struggles? Yeah. Every quarterback's had their struggles. But everyone's counting us out saying that we can't win it, we can't do this, we can't do that. This entire year has been nothing but matchups that's been proven week after week that it doesn't matter who you beat.
All right, first off,
I think he's taking Texas.
Yeah,
first of all, I didn't think we were going to have a guy from
College Station. That did not, Matt. Look, props to you. You're Owen Wilson behind enemy lines. And again, I want to reiterate: nobody is saying that Quinn Ewers is a bad player. That's not what that open was about. But to me, and you talk about, and I'm talking about this year specifically. What happened when Texas played Georgia? I know it wasn't all Quinn Ewers' fault, but it's not like Texas's defense played awful, right, in both of those games. It was the offense. Even the first game where they got doubled up, they turned the ball over and gave Georgia's offense great field position. So in the two biggest matchups that you've had, and with all due respect to A&M going on the road and winning it, you've fallen apart offensively. Now, do I think Texas has a shot to beat Ohio State? Yes. But I think it's more about Ohio State playing bad and giving them a chance right now with the way they're playing than it is about Texas playing really well and Ohio State playing really well and Texas just being better. I don't know with what we've seen the past couple weeks and what we saw against Georgia this year, why you would be so much more confident in Texas being able to take down Ohio State.
What's the line right this second? Did it move again?
Yeah.
So it did go down at least a half point?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like a field goal game. I like a close game. I don't know
think
if
it's
the
going to be
Buckeyes
tight?
are just going to keep just pouncing people by 30
See,
points.
but that's like what everybody brings up first. It's like, is it more about can Ohio State keep playing this well? Because if Ohio State keeps playing the way they're playing, Texas ain't beating them. Nobody's beating them. They're going to win this game, then they're going to win the next game, then they're going to win the national championship. Because when Ohio State is playing really, really well with that roster, and I think Texas can play well, but you're not beating them. I don't think so.
I just know Ohio State is going to be able to get to Quinn Ewers.
That's what
They're
that's
going
what
to
worries
be able. If Arizona State can get
once,
no,
like
Over the-
consistently every
Yeah.
drive. I mean,
Yeah,
if they get to him every drive, it's over.
I mean, every drive. I mean, yeah, it's over. But they will be able to get to Quinn Ewers consistently, matching a hat for a hat. I think they're that good up front.
If you stop the run, 3rd and 9, they going to find you. Like, they're that talented. That would be my worry as a Texas fan.
Well, let's go to a guy in Ohio, see what he has to say. We got Steve on the line in Ohio. Steve, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hey!
What's up, Steve?
What's up, dude?
It's been forever since I've been able to call, so let me get this stuff in before my time runs out. I got a hot take and a question.
Okay.
The hot take is that if we do an action figure auction, it'll bring at least $3,000 for New Orleans victim relief.
Love that.
That'd be awesome. I love it. I think it's a great idea, Steve.
My question is, Jake, your new favorite team, the Reds, they had an abundance of infielders, and they traded Jonathan India to shore up the rotation. Then they trade for Gavin Lux. Make that make sense.
My new second favorite team, Steve, I think is what you meant to say. It's always going to be Braves till I die. You know, there's been a couple moves that the Reds have done that have perplexed me, and this is one of them. I understand moving pieces where maybe you feel you're better at to get more pitching, because pitching in baseball, it's like having a great quarterback. You have to have it if you want to have elite success, and I would rather be really, really good in the starting rotation, in the bullpen, including the back end, and maybe have to eat a position, a guy that may not hit as well, that may hit 225 and he's not hitting 30 bombs a year like half these guys because average doesn't matter anymore. But it seems like they're contradicting themselves. I think that's the point you're getting at, Steve. And whenever you do that, it makes it seem like there's no clear plan, and that's kind of been what it is for Cincinnati. But I tell you what, as long as they don't get rid of my favorite player in baseball, who we all know who that is, got the jersey at the house, one of the few guys who I have his jersey, Ellie De La Cruz, then I'm going to be fine with it.
Thanks for calling in, Steve. It's great to hear from you. All right, that line's now open. Let's get a caller in on that line, and we're going to go to Ty in Texas. Ty, 60 seconds. What's your hot take, brother?
Y'all want a hot take? TU is going to get their horn sawn off by Ohio by 50.
By 50?
By 50?
Oh, yeah.
If that's the case.
Give me a score.
Yeah, give
me an
us a
actual score.
50-0.
No, be realistic.
No.
What's the score?
No, I don't know. Let's say 60-10, I guess. I don't know.
60-10.
I really called in to talk to Jake. I just wanted to tell you, you're only going to have your first kid one time, so soak it in, dude. You're about to experience the greatest blessing you're ever going to receive. Just soak it in, and I wish someone would have told me this whenever we had our first kid. You're going to sit in that waiting room, and you're going to be in there a while.
Yeah.
Take a bottle of whiskey, sneak it in there, sip on it, relax the nerves.
You've been looking at you hacked my phone. No, Ty, I really appreciate that, man. I'm really excited. The only thing that scares me is, she's due tomorrow. Now, I don't think we're going to have the baby on the due date, but there's supposed to be a snowstorm coming in Thursday night. So if she were to have the baby Friday, we got a doctor's appointment in the morning. I'm going to ask, I may have to, Dennis Quaid from Day After Tomorrow, this thing, put the snowshoes on, carry on.
I thought I was the greatest blessing. in your life? I thought that was
top 5.
Yeah, you're top 7.
Top 3 keeps added on.
Yeah, you're definitely
Jake's more of a wine guy.
You're definitely top.
All
7.
I just got from all that is that we are going to be live streaming the playoff games from the hospital.
Listen, y'all know me. Look,
talk it over with Reed, and we'll.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go down great. Honey, please, can you just be quiet and push? It's 3rd down and 2.
All right, let's move on to Nick in South Carolina. Nick, 60 seconds. What's your hot take, brother?
What's up? So my hot take is that if Ohio State were to lose this weekend to Texas, Ohio State is even more validated to fire Ryan Day because of how dominant they've been. I cannot, looking back at their season, I can't begin to imagine how bad they were when it came to those critical 2 losses. And then you look at what they've done in the playoffs. I mean, they're like juggernauts against everybody else. To me, Ryan Day is a mediocre coach who got lucky. He was in the right place at the right time to even beat Ohio State. And he has a horseshoe up his – and I just think that they should move on from them and find the guy. If Ohio State wasn't a top 1-tier school like Alabama or Georgia, if he was like a top 2 or top 3-tier school, this type of winning success, hey, it's what's deserved. But they need to move on from him if they lose.
Wow,
I knew we weren't done with the Ryan.
You got to hear the interview he just did with Ryan, the way he's feeling about it.
Here, he brought up the 2 losses during the season, and I do for a second want to go back because they played, Oregon twice, right? You play them in the regular season, you lose 38-37. We all know the Dan Lanning 12 men on the field thing. Then you play them in the playoff and blow them out of the water. I went back and watched the first game with Oregon and Ohio State, and offensively, Ohio State pretty much did the same thing to Oregon. The difference was the defense. Like, everybody keeps talking about the Ohio State offense, and I get it. Jeremiah Smith's a freak. Egbuka's nice. Carnell Tate's nice. You got 2 really good backs. Even though the offensive line isn't the most elite one they've had, they're pretty good. The difference was the defense, because that was a scoring fest against Oregon the first time. So I think maybe more of this transformation from Ohio State is about the defense, not as much about the offense.
Well, I wonder if he thinks the same thing if James Franklin loses this game. Should he be fired?
Well, does he consider, I think then you would have to ask him, does he consider Penn State in the same tier as Ohio State? And if he does, then yes. It's just, I think, I'll go back to what I've said about Ryan Day. I think James Franklin is somewhat likable, right? Keegan-Michael Key does the James Franklin impression. He says some funny things. He's got a little bit of personality. I don't think Ryan Day is very likable. So if you're not going to be very likable and you're not, I know photogenic's the word for pictures. I don't know what it is like on TV. Then you have to win even more. And I think that's going against.
Is Ryan Day a mediocre coach?
I don't think he's a mediocre coach. I think he's a good coach.
But he is in a great situation.
Yeah, I think he's a good coach in an elite situation. That's what I think.
That was a hot take, man, and that line's now open, so let's get someone on it. And we're going to go to Binks Majinks in Charlotte. Binks, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hello, gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New to you.
So my hot take is that Pat Narduzzi should have been fired before he left the field on December 26th. And not only that, he needs to be on the first rocket to Mars when Elon colonizes it. And
you going to send Narduzzi up there?
They'll be able to rush the passer.
Get him out. Get him out. I think he's a coward of a coach. He's afraid to go for it on 4th down. And then just the play calling in the overtime game in the bowl game. Start off 7-0 in this season and end with 6 straight losses.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. And honestly, I know we have that new athletic director, Alan Green, and I'm already starting to question my confidence in him because he has not been fired yet.
Oh, you talking about Alan Green, the same guy that was at Auburn and was a disaster? That Alan Green? I knew when y'all hired him it was a mistake. So this is more of, I think, and in some points, from an old school standpoint, I agree with a little bit of what Binks said. It seems like Narduzzi's stuck in that old school frame of mind. Holstein's a really good player. Him getting hurt killed y'all. Because Holstein, you remember the transfer from Bama? He was really, really good. You got off to that great start. He gets hurt. Then obviously the season falls apart. But then the bowl game, losing to Toledo and the way you lost to him when you were struggling early, but then you got back up, looked like you were dominating. I love the Reed kid, though, at running back. I think he's an incredible player. Little guy, runs really, really tough. Did say he was coming back.
I can understand the frustration, though, with the way the season.
Man, it's just tough after a season like before when you had 3 wins to start 7-0.
Yeah, quarterback goes down.
Quarterback injury, the loss with SMU is really where it fell apart.
That's true.
We'll see. All right, let's go to Josh in Boise, Idaho. Josh, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hey, boys, what's going on?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, real quick, went to the Fiesta Bowl, watched Penn State smoke us in the Fiesta Bowl. A couple of things that I just noticed with that game. Number one, we did have more total yards than Penn State by the end. If anybody watched that game, they know it was a little closer than the total final score. A couple of, I thought bad calls, but Penn State clearly was the better team. My hot take, though, out of all of this, is that even though Genty is leaving, I think, whether people like it or not, they're going to be dealing with Boise State in a conversation around them next year. We lose one guy in the portal, our wide receiver 3, and then I think we'll find out pretty quick because we go to South Bend and we play Notre Dame on October 4th or something, which I will be flying there to be watching that game as well.
Well, Josh, to me, what I find fascinating in this new era that we're in is now that Boise State not only made the playoff, but got a bye in the playoff, you want to talk about the sell on Boise State used to be, hey, you remember that time we ran those 3 trick plays and beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl back then? That was something. Now it's, guys, we're 2 games away from a national championship. So when Spencer Danielson goes into these living rooms, when these assistant coaches go in these living rooms, you know what they're going to say? Like, listen, we may not have the most NIL money, right? And we saw that with Dirk Cutter coming out, what he put on Facebook, but we've proven that we can not only make the college football playoff, we can get a bye. And oh, by the way, we had the best running back that just went into the draft. So you can come here, have a legitimate chance to win a national championship, and go really high in the NFL draft. I think that's an even better selling point than saying, hey, we ran a flea flicker and a hook and ladder against Oklahoma 30 years ago in the Fiesta Bowl and won.
You've been making that point on playoff expansion since I met you. Boise State will be the Group of 5 representative next year.
I just quit giving the Group of 5 an automatic bid.
Oh, here we go.
Stop doing it. If they're good enough, they're going to put them in. You don't have to be, he's from the Group of 5. It's okay. You belong here.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
but Boise would have got in.
For sure, they would have got in. I just don't think they deserved the first round bye.
I agree with that.
I don't think they would have been ranked this high either because they were ranked higher in the weeks.
Well, dude, that's what we said when you remember when the first college football playoff rankings came out? We were like, God, what a coincidence that Boise's at 12.
At 12, yeah.
Not at 10, not at 15. In the first year of the 12-team playoff, they put them right at 12. Mm-hmm. So when you saw that, you're like, win out. Now, kudos to them. They won out. But I thought that was a little bit iffy. But I agree with you. The structure.
Y'all better have something like Ashton Genty next year.
Good.
I hope you'll have that.
I don't think anybody's going to have that.
Just don't play Georgia Southern if you're going to have another one of those. Good call in, though. That line's open. Let's get someone on it. Remember, 60 seconds. If you hear the ticking, that means your time is running out. Let's go to Michael in Texas. 60 seconds. What's your hot take, Michael?
Happy New Year. Happy Hump Day. And David, go blue.
Go blue.
1 year against Bama.
Wow.
Darby Lou, great game. Hope you're listening. Here's my hot take. I believe the Big Ten as a whole is going to dominate college football for the next decade plus. And I say that because of the depth that the Big Ten has with Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and you can add in Indiana. Illinois had a great year, and they're on the rise. So they're going to have some really strong teams that will be in contention for the next decade. And you see how the SEC has kind of regressed a little bit. You only see Texas and Georgia competing for the playoff this year, and Alabama's down. I know Vanderbilt had a good year. South Carolina's on the rise too, but right now that's 6 versus 5. So I'd say that's why the Big Ten.
Michael, before you go, hold on. Before your time's up, what does dominate mean? Win the national championship? That's what you're saying?
I'm saying, yeah, win the national championship.
Be the national championship. All right.
Okay, so that's how you define dominate.
Dominate.
Well,
you heard it there.
I would, Michael, when you call, I know you'll call in next week at least. But so I like to give it on a 10-year spectrum because, on Monday on the Open, I brought up the SEC winning 7 national titles in a row. So I'm not even asking that. That's obviously domination. I don't think anybody's going to win 7 in a row again. But out of 10. What is one conference? All right, we got 4 Power 4 conferences. Let's just leave it at that. Let's not extend anywhere else. You got 4 Power 4 conferences, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. How many out of 10 would a conference have to win for you to say they dominated?
Because I think it's just half.
Well, sure, because there are still 4 conferences.
Yeah.
If we get down to 2, then half's just half, But I would say half. And I would still put my money on the Southeastern Conference. But the point I was making the other day is, they could still dominate, but not be as dominant because that is how dominant they were before.
That's exactly right.
We may not see that again, and they could still be the driving force for.
And that was really my whole point of the Open. You nailed it right there. It's a level of dominance I don't think we'll see by anybody before that the SEC did in the last 20 years.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Timothy in Green Bay. Timothy, 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Gentlemen, my phone cut out yesterday, so I couldn't talk, and you missed a donation. But I'll say my piece now. So, this is a hot take and a motivational speech for the Crain Bros. One day, when the time is right, I will take over Auburn, and I will win you guys so many national championships in a row that you will get tired of winning, that you will tell me to lose on your show just to have a feeling. Auburn will be turned around when I take over. Put that bucket 20 years from now.
I'm writing it down right now. Timothy, God, I hope you're right. And you know what? Just let me coach the special teams.
I'm going to make it my mission to let you never coach anything at Auburn.
I thought you were going to say
my life mission, Tim.
Hey,
that is
Tim,
my life mission.
Tim, hey, what are the Packers going to do in the playoffs? Oh, is he out the line?
He's gone.
Scared. Okay, hey, mic drop. I respect the mic drop.
Which, talking about the Packers, Christian Watson out for the season, right?
ACL.
Out for the postseason. ACL?
Yep.
I heard it might even be more than that.
Really?
More damage, yeah.
I'll tell you what, one guy I was wrong about, although he is up there in interceptions when it comes to Jordan Love. Pretty damn good.
Good player.
No, he is. And I will say, though, and again, you may have missed on Jordan Love, but your Bryce Young take's starting to look a little bit better. Canales came out and said, we got our guy. I mean, if you protect Bryce Young, he can play. That one may be resurrected. It may be resurrected.
No doubt. All right, let's go to Travis in Ohio. Travis, 60 seconds. What's your hot take, brother?
Yo, you got me?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody who thinks Ohio State should fire Ryan Day's a fucking idiot. All right. Who's better? Who are we going to get? Nick Saban? Other than that, that's fucking stupid.
All right. Out with the profanity, or they'll kick you off.
Travis said they had to because of the F's. The funny part is I agree with Travis.
Yeah.
I agree with Travis.
Anything but the F word, guys.
Yeah.
Anything
there's a couple other ones.
But try to keep it at least PG-13 when it comes to cussing.
Yeah, that's all we ask. Travis,
he came in strong.
Listen,
that's a hot take.
Look, if we were at the sports bar, me and you were talking, buddy, that's how I talk.
Not quite as good as the caller who called in and had a profanity slip, and then he said another profanity to make up for it.
No, Travis, I will say, though, I think you were going down the right track
for sure.
of, again, sometimes the grass ain't greener on the other side. And I think maybe some Alabama fans are starting to figure that out. We'll see. Kalen DeBoer needs a little more time. Travis, call back in, and just no Fs. Say freaking. All right, we're down with that. I'm down for some,
maybe
not for that.
Maybe that was a stunt in the control room just to see if the audio team was like
a test.
Yeah, a test.
I like that.
Yeah, which look, they passed.
Now, Travis, call back in, buddy.
This might be a dangerous game, but let's just stay in Ohio. Let's go to Tyler in Ohio. 60 seconds.
Really
what's your hot take, Travis Jr.?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, boys? My hot take. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan here in Ohio. Notre Dame will beat Ohio State 28-21 in the national title, and Lou Holtz gets his last day to Ryan Day.
No. All right. Hold on, Tyler. You said 28-21? Notre Dame over Ohio State.
28-21 Notre Dame.
And Lou Holtz does what?
Yes,
what did he say?
And Lou Holtz
gets his last day. He gets to tell them that they're soft.
Yeah.
Do you think in Lou Holtz's, you know how you make, and again, I hope Lou Holtz lives forever, but nobody lives forever. You know how you make those videos, if you die, hey guys, if you're watching this, I'm
already
passed
dead.
away.
Yeah.
Do you think in Lou Holtz's video, you have his whole family around? He's like, I want to give my grill to Skip. And then the last thing he says is guys, listen, I'm a Lou Holtz. I love you guys, love Notre Dame. And I'll whip Ryan Day's ass. I'll whip his ass. Anyway, I'm dead now watching him.
But he says it with no slur.
But he says it with no slur. No.
It's like thanks everybody.
Did Kaiser say that at the end?
Obviously, I'm dead now. Ryan Day, I'll beat your ass.
Kaiser say that at the end? No way. right. Let's go to Kirk in Canada. Kirk, you got 60 seconds, man. What's your hot take?
Well, I got three quick ones. Number one, Detroit Lions 31, Ravens 27. What do you think?
Writing it down.
Wow.
I like it. That's my pick. The Lions are my pick.
All right. Second one, OSU 34, Notre Dame 31. What do you think?
God, you think Notre Dame's going to put up 31?
I feel like Notre Dame has to win that game. It needs to be like 14-7.
Yeah, unless, look, Notre Dame, that defense does get after you. They cause you to turn over. Kick return game's pretty good. Punt return game's pretty good. They're not afraid to go after a punt. Hell, they roughed Georgia's punter 3 times into the first drive. So,
last and third one is, hey, Blaine, how about a hockey bet, buddy?
Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll never live up to it.
I'll give you 19.5 points, buddy.
Dude, that's like a teaser.
Hey, I'll look at it, Kirk.
All right.
Talk to me on social. We'll find something that we both
Flyers plus 19.5.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, Kirk.
All right.
Welcome you all to America here soon.
Last caller of the day, Michael in Alabama. Michael, you got 60 seconds, man. What's your hot take?
My hot take is this. Notre Dame going to win the national championship.
God, are they your number? Let me, honestly, though, if I had to, we rank the quarterbacks in order of who you think's going to win it. If I had, who would be your number 2? Let's just say we all think right now Ohio State's going to win it.
They're not my number 1.
Who's your number 1?
I'll pick Notre Dame.
You can't pick Michigan, David. They're not in the.
Yeah, Michigan's
not. They can't fight their way in there.
I know, Mike. I can't go with Texas, bro.
You already picked them to win it.
I know. Before Ohio State looked like Heaven's Army.
You said the second team.
The second team behind them, I would go Notre Dame because I don't think Texas is going to win.
Notre Dame better than Penn State?
Because I think Riley Leonard's the difference.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Good enough thrower.
Bruce Pearl got it done last night.
All-time winningest coach in Auburn history. Name the arena after him. I don't care if you got to pay to name the arena. Name the floor after, the Neville people. But Bruce Pearl, and if you call it the Pearl.
Are you and Bruce Pearl cool?
Man,
Bruce hates him.
Yeah.
Like now, apparently they hate me.
Bruce
and it's so. Unfollow me on Twitter.
No.
Whole family unfollow me on Twitter. All for saying last year after Auburn lost to Yale, and it wasn't even specifically about basketball, that Auburn in the postseason, it seems like for the past 5 years, has found a way to fail. Since 2019, since the Final Four run, Auburn hadn't been in the Sweet 16. But I mainly made it about football and baseball. Then they got pissed at me to the point where I was getting calls from certain people about how pissed they were. And I picked the pick, literally the same video. I'm like, Bruce Pearl's the greatest thing that ever happened to Auburn basketball. Greatest Auburn basketball coach of all time. Name the arena after him. In the same video. But you say one thing,
right?
You say one thing negative.
And the quarterback's dad calls
Next thing you know, you're on the intro video for the Yankees going into the playoffs.
Yeah, like it's amazing. And I love Bruce. I love Bruce Pearl, dude. And I think Steven's a great coach. I've done nothing but be supportive. Even when Simeon Bowers was dribbling the ball up the court.
Petty unfollowed you on Twitter?
Oh, everybody.
That's wild.
Yeah, everybody.
Great call-ins today.
Yeah, great call-ins.
Great job.
All right. Let's get to bets. We're going to get to donos. Then fit it in a minute. Can't forget that. Like that. All right. I think I look pretty decent in brown, man. The wardrobe lady said I did.
You just look like a jackass. Read the bets.
Oh, really? Well, that's great. You look like you're about to do some stupid-ass commercial for a car salesman show or whatever.
I'd buy it.
Look, thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Let's go, Peter Pan.
Yeah. Don't poison them. Just don't. It's not worth it. You're having a kid on the way. All right, last night. 1-1, unlike Blaine, who went 0-2 with that stupid-ass Pittsburgh and Duke bet. Kentucky didn't come through for me, but Florida shouldn't have bought it down to 2.5
at all,
because that was an absolute melt show. Tonight, going back to the hardwood, give me UConn. I know they don't have Liam McNeely still, the great white hope over there, but they're going to Villanova. I know Villanova's kind of turned it around. I really like Eric Dixon's a really good player, but give me UConn plus 1.5 on the road at -110. Then Oklahoma -2.5 tonight at home against A&M. Why am I picking it? Wade Taylor is out for Texas A&M. He is the apps, and they're incredibly physical. Wade Taylor makes that team go. So give me Oklahoma. They got a great freshman, Jeremiah Fears, really good player. Give me OU at home to bounce back after getting absolutely shellacked by Bama. I think they gave up like 107, something like that. -2.5. That's at -1.25.
0-2 last night, Tennessee and West Virginia. I'll never forgive you. I'm not sure what my bets are. Justine did get them. Look at this. Justine got my bet.
I got you.
Not pixelated.
High tie.
Fully pixelated. You can't keep her down. I'll tell you because I didn't write them down today. Bama minus 11.5, minus 115 on the odds, and UConn money. Are you bet buds?
Yeah, I got plus 1.5. Let's go.
Let's go. UConn money line minus 105.
God,
or if they're better
1-by-1, right?
No.
Yeah, nice job.
That'd be minus 1.5 or plus.
I got a plus 1.5.
Ooh, okay,
that'd be great if you.
All right, bring my bets up 0-2 yesterday. We're not going to talk about that. I mean, I don't know why we put just Connecticut on mine and not UConn. I mean, we'll talk about that later. Plus 1.5, minus 110. Crain, I'm rolling with you. And give me the Rebels. Ole Miss plus 3.5. That's going off at minus 114.
What did Ace go last night? Didn't he take Georgetown?
On the thing you sent, it says Connecticut.
Yeah.
When you send in your bets.
That's a screenshot. Well, I thought, we can connect the dots on what Connecticut is.
Connecticut, the dots?
As the school, university.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Look, it's just details. Anyways, what did Ace go last night? He had Georgetown, right? Plus
he had Georgetown.
I know that
covered.
I'm trying to remember the other one. I can't remember. I want to say it was Florida. I think he may have gone 2-0 again. God, maybe he should do the show.
No, please. Don't need to hear that at the house.
All right, so he's going to ride with Oklahoma minus 3.5 again. I bought it down to 2.5. That's why the odds are a little bit different. Playing A&M at home without Wade Taylor. Then Ole Miss on the road, I believe, plus 3.5. I'm trying to remember who they play. For some reason, it escapes me. It's obviously not Oklahoma, but Ole Miss plus 3.5 going off at minus 115. All right, Blaine. All right, let's go fit it in a minute, Coney.
You'll go fit it in a minute?
Let's go fit it in a minute.
All right, put that 60-second clock up. I'm going to get to the sports news you need to know that we didn't get to, and I'm going to start now. The NFL is monitoring wildfires, which are taking place in Los Angeles, causing many to evacuate their homes. The Rams are set to host the Vikings in L.A. Monday night. Our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected. Travis Kelce scoffed at the idea that the Chiefs lost to the Broncos on purpose so that the Bengals would be left out of the playoffs. The tight end says, I ain't scared of nobody. There was a couple extra words in there. I want to slay all the dragons one by one like it's Mortal Kombat. Next up, Justin Verlander agrees to a one-year deal with the San Francisco Giants for $15 million. The 42-year-old pitcher is entering his 20th season in Major League Baseball.
Wow, 20th.
Yep, back to college football. Sam Levitt signed a new deal to remain at Arizona State. His current NIL valuation is $3 million, according to our friends over at On3. Last one, USA Hockey. This one's for Kirk. USA Hockey belted out the national anthem after winning the gold at World Juniors yet again.
Great job, Coney. I also, prayers sent, 58-31, that's pretty good. Do we think maybe, and I'm just connecting the dots here, you said the Travis Kelce quote had some expletives?
It did. Expletive.
And where is Travis Kelce from? What state? Oh, Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio.
Could Travis Kelce have just called in and got
that was Travis Kelce.
That's
nice job,
I'm
Crain.
telling you, I'm connecting the dots over here. I'm Connecticuting the dots.
I love your head's out. All right, let's get his donations. If you donate today, the guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it on this side. Let's go to a $2 donations from CNC. What's up, man? He says, love the new format, boys. GL to you and Reed. Jake, good luck. Let's go to a $5 donation from Ben J. Appreciate it, Ben. Jake, good luck with the new daughter. I can't wait to see how she comes out and hopefully she looks like her mother.
We're all hoping that, buddy.
$5 donation from JPW37. Appreciate it. Jake, congratulations, man. I can't wait to meet the newest member of the Booster Club.
Yes.
$2 donation from Cuse. Appreciate it, Cuse. Y'all doing on an AI of Fran Brown would be hilarious. Absolutely. $5 donation from the Jungle. Jake, now you know what you have to do. You have to do an AI of Bruce Pearl to get him back on your good side. $5 donation from Timmy the T says, Blaine, do want a Peyton Thorne. I feel like laughing every day.
I just don't want his dad to message me. I just can't.
He can message me all he wants. I'll look at it and laugh. All right, thanks for all the donations. Appreciate it. Let's get to the poll. I made one when we were doing hot takes. Should Ryan Day be fired if they lose?
Get Travis on the line and let's see.
I know what Travis thinks. I'm going to say that they said, God, everybody just hates Ryan Day, Cone. I'm going to say they said no, but it's close. Like 54%.
Of course not. 90%.
No, 73%.
All right, in the middle.
I'm telling
More
you,
than it should be.
The Booster Club is, they're winning the water cooler together. I do want to remind everybody, so tomorrow at our normal time slot at 2 p.m. Central, we're going to have an interview with Tim Brando, a long interview with Timmy B, talking a ton about college football, some things on the periphery as well. But the reason we are not doing our live show tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central is because we are live streaming the Notre Dame-Penn State game tomorrow from Mission Cigar and Social, hopefully, if the weather holds up, at 6:15 p.m. Central. That's 7:15 p.m. Eastern. And then on Friday, we are going to live stream the Ohio State and Texas game at the exact same time, 6:15 p.m. Central, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys join us for that tomorrow. If you see that we're not live tomorrow at the normal time, it's because we are setting up to go live for a lot longer. The live streams are a ton of fun. We do live bets. We had 300,000 views on the last one. We want to double that. We want to get to 1 million views. Basically what happens is we're watching the game, y'all from our TV. Y'all are watching the game from your TV. We're commenting on it. You turn the volume down. Live bets, live comments read, super chats. It's just a really good time. I think it's the new cool way to watch the game. And it's like we're hanging out together and watching it. We take your questions, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you lock in for that live stream tomorrow. We really, really appreciate you guys joining us. Prayers sent to everybody who's involved in the attack in New Orleans and obviously what's going on with the wildfires right now or all over California. It's just it's a really scary thing. The videos coming out of that are just absolutely insane, and we really hope everybody finds a way to be okay and make sure you say a prayer tonight for those people. But like the chances of the live streams not being elite for the rest of the week, we're going.
3 in a row.
Gone. Dude, that went
nice.
in
I'll
between
give you
the
that
lights.
one. That was nice.
That one went in between the lights. Wednesday night lights.